They say that we don't remember exactly what a person says or does, but we remember how they make us feel. Hey, hi, I'm Angel. Thanks for stopping by. What do you think of that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I think I mostly agree with that. I have been struck lately by how many times I will end up in an argument with somebody over the specifics of what was said or what was meant by what was said. And when really it comes down to how we feel. And the trick to that is that we often blame other people for how we feel when really we're being triggered by past events that we haven't really processed in a healthy way. So if something happened to us when we were children, for example, which is very common, that we didn't process in a healthy way, often we will recreate patterns or find ourselves back in the same kind of pattern loop where we interpret what's going on as a similar scenario that makes us feel the same way or a similar way to the way that we did when we were children. And I think it's kind of our subconscious way of giving ourselves an opportunity to process it in a more healthy way, to bring it current, to realize that now as an adult we have different tools. We could deal with feeling in a different way. However, a lot of times we don't do that. A lot of times we just think, oh, you made me feel bad, and then often we distance ourselves in the relationship, probably the most common reaction. The other being we get aggressive back and we attack back, but both of those are fairly common. I think the most common, in fact, arguably attacking back, is just yet another distancing mechanism. That's the dumbest roundabout that I know of, by the way, right by my house. It's got stop signs and a roundabout, and it's in a tiny little area without much space, and then they put a middle part in it. Some politician's pet project, no doubt. Anyway, that is an aside, total distraction from my point, which is just that it's important to pay attention to how we might be making people feel with our words, to recognize that we all have triggers, and even though that's not our responsibility to know what somebody else's triggers are, if we have a relationship we care about, a rainbow. When we have relationships we care about with people we care about, then it behooves us to pay attention to how we're making them feel. And even if our words are right, even if our intentions are right, if the result is to make that person feel like less, like we're degrading them, like we're demeaning them, then it's a good idea to take a look at how we might change our words, or how we might change our approach or our timing. There's lots of ways, once we realize there's a problem, that we can make a subtle shift and maybe improve the way we're making somebody feel, instead of making them feel worse if they're already feeling bad, or instead of tearing them down when they're feeling good. And conversely, it's important to recognize if we're feeling torn down or feeling bad frequently, that's probably a pattern that we're bringing to the table, and there's probably, or the relationship, the proverbial table, there's something that we could do probably to improve our own reaction, our own story about what something actually means. Because it's pretty rare that somebody is just going out of their way to make us feel bad, even though it sure feels that way sometimes. I'd love to know what you think of that in the comments below. As always, you can contact me, find ways to connect to me, find ways to support me in the description below. And until next time, I wish you peace, prosperity, positivity, potential, and playfulness.